destined to die.
Alright, so here we are back at talking to Voila. She says that we're gonna die.
You are destined.
We're all gonna die.
I have foreseen it.
I still think my favorite use of that quote goes back to Beast Wars with Rat Trap. But we all leveled up, so it's okay. You know, it's fine. Give you a little update. It's been a while since we've uploaded one of these things. So I've seen Avengers Infinity War at this point. Have not seen Deadpool 2. Have not. Ant-Man and the Wasp is soon to come out. So obviously I haven't seen that. And there are all sorts of rumors as to what they're doing with the storyline for the next few Marvel films. You know, who's dead, who's not dead, who's gonna be dead, you know, all that fun stuff. But we are wandering around Jotunheim here, looking for frost giants to beat up. You know, with our usual foursome of Captain America, Spider-Man, Venom, and Miss Marvel. As far as game news, I actually beat the boss level of Mobile Suit Gundam, or sorry, Dynasty Warriors Mobile Suit Gundam Reborn. That took me forever. And I finally beat it with Hiro Yui in the Wing Zero, a maxed out Hiro Yui, level 50, and from what I can tell, a maxed out Wing Zero. I was really upset that I couldn't get the melee rating on it as to about 600, which is where I would have wanted it. And I have a bunch of recorded footage of Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3, which it's interesting how different that game is than Dynasty Warriors Gundam Reborn. So, you know, as soon as I get done a little further along and, you know, get through some more of this Marvel stuff with the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 footage that I have recorded, maybe the Marvel... I've also got some other Marvel-related things that were never converted into episodes that I could do, but I'm definitely thinking that I'm going to go back and do some more of that Gundam 3 stuff that I never uploaded. I think I got to the point where I unlocked Troa Barton as a character, and I was like, yeah, this is how it's going to be. We're going to be Troa, and we're going to beat everything with heavy arms, and then that was the last video that ever got uploaded. But in the meantime, we are here on Jotunheim, and Jotunheim can be somewhat annoying because the Dark Elf enemies require combinations in order to knock them down. The Frost Giants, although they look like they should be the harder enemies, are actually easier to defeat in that sense because you don't need a massive amount of combinations to deal with them. And now we're going to come under an assault with catapults from Frost Giant people.
Destroy the humans.
And basically what you can do is you can draw their fire with these target lights as you're trying to move up closer. But you know, you don't have to do that. It can get kind of annoying though. There's multiple ways around here. We're going to move the rock here, which successfully covered up a upgrade point that we could have used. And now I'm using Miss Marvel as my main character and utilizing her plasma bolts, I think is what they're called. But yeah, just these two circular objects. You can get more of them eventually. You can see they've got some proximity effect to them. They'll attack enemies on their own. And so you can get a couple hits on an enemy before you go and punch it. And Miss Marvel is something of a bruiser character anyway, so you know she hits pretty hard normally. In fact, this team is pretty bruiser heavy. Between Venom, Miss Marvel, and Captain America, there's lots of characters who rely on more brute forcing it, even though Captain Marvel does have a series of powers. And so right now what I'm trying to figure out is how to find where the catapults are so I can go and destroy those. You can see the red X on the map. No, just ran into another frost giant. You can see the red X on the map, and that's where we need to get to. Obviously, we haven't explored all the way that far. I've got a special attack that's saved up right now that I could trigger if I wanted to. I've got a couple of modified frost giants up here, and a couple of dark elf wizard people. Probably healing the other. Here we go. Let's just kill the catapults, knock out the frost giants. Yeah, and there they go. It's a little bit interesting coming back to this game after having bought the HD version for PC. Just because the way the graphics look here, it's not as clean. There's a definite difference. And another difference is that when I was playing the PC version of this, I went ahead and used the Miss Marvel costume that has the Captain Marvel insignia on the front, even though I don't think it's technically a Captain Marvel costume. And not the Warbird costume that she's got here. She also wears her hair short with that one, which is just a thing. But yeah, I played through the HD version on PC. I don't really think that I'll have much of a reason to go back to this or record new footage off of that unless there's something interesting that happens. I mean, this is a beginner's run here. This is my very first run at this game in any of its forms, and this footage is at this point now a couple years old. So you can see me doing things like scouring the entire map for things I might have missed or things where to go next. It might be interesting to record a legendary run just to kind of compare the graphical quality, or maybe a couple of comic book missions that each character has in the training simulator. Of those training missions, the one that I like the least is still the Spider-Man mission, because you have to keep Dum Dum Dugan alive, and it requires a certain number of button presses, and and some quick time events, and Dum Dum not really the smartest AI character in the world when he's like running around being shot at by AIM agents and occasionally Mac Gargan the Scorpion. But that wasn't the but getting Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Ultimate Alliance 2 on PC wasn't the biggest acquisition that I made recently, and that might potentially affect the channel.
This does not bode well at all. The sword must have been used on Odin. And if that happened, you must move with all haste. Locate Odin. He is no doubt now the prisoner of Loki and Dr. Doom. I could not even hazard a guess. But do not tarry. Odin's life is most likely in danger.
So yeah, Odin beat up with the sword that they got from Mephisto. So, you know, that's the thing, and the reason they needed to bring him here to Jotunheim is to access an area called Ravenspire that reacts well to magic. Where it's very induced to I don't know. You know, my words are failing me here. This is I'm recording this after having worked for a good 6.5 hours earlier today, running around the heat. Okay, so we've come around to the other side of it. It's kind of well, it's not a particularly exciting looking sword. And then here's our way out. To the giant... to the giant frost giant. Yeah, well, okay. That's where Ymir lives. And he is going to be our next challenge. Now, I do not know... Yep, so here we are. And I'm being very careful here because I don't want to... Well, okay, there's sketchbooks to find. But I don't want to be underprepared. You have to remember this was the first time I'd played this game. I'd seen parts of it. I hadn't really seen it all been played at this point. So as far as I was concerned, Ymir could jump out at me at any point in time. And so that's what I was kind of like looking for, was, you know, what spot triggered that. I was also still scouring the landscape for things that might be useful body upgrades. Well, there he is. He looks a lot better here than he did. I remember him on my TV being almost featureless. So the capture actually did a decent job here of showing some detail, and the HD version on the PC gives him even more detail. So, alright, we're going to try boss battle. Now, in this case, the boss battle is not the standard boss fight that we've been doing up to now. No, so this is not going to be like the Enchantress or the Executioner. You're just trying to pelt the enemy until they run out of health points. Instead, we have to find a way to damage Ymir, and fortunately, although this view is really distracting, you can see we're being attacked by frost giants, and those frost giants are actually the secret to how this all goes down. Alright, so you can see that we can pick up the frost giant spears after they've been killed. But you also saw that, you know, running up to Ymir with the spear didn't do anything to him. So clearly there's something else that has to happen here. Alright, so now I have one of the spears, which is absurdly sized for Miss Marvel, but she's pretty strong, so I mean, that's not a terrible thing here. Okay, so now we've got a quick time series of events to get up behind him
They're here.
and jab one of these things in. Unfortunately, that's going to use it up, so we're going to have to repeat the process and try not to get hit by Emir. You can see that Miss Marvel's lost half her health just from getting hit once or maybe twice by Emir, and I'm kind of just like letting Captain America, Venom, and Spider-Man beat up the other Frost Giant to set up our next run up the thing here. And this time we failed the quick time event. I don't know if it's a issue of my reaction time or some difference between, you know, sort of thinking that I've hit it and then turning out that I haven't. But I don't remember. I don't think that's a huge issue. As you can see, we haven't lost anybody yet, fortunately. And I think we've got good old Emir down to his final hit here.
Nice try, tough guy.
Okay, unfortunately we couldn't pick up the spear soon enough while he was on the ground. He obliged us there. And there he goes. Yeah, you still have to defeat any flunkies that are still alive. I guess we could run off with the one more spear if we wanted it. But yeah, as dangerous as he was not the main issue here. And the level actually continues beyond him. Okay, well, evidently Captain America just left his suit lying around. Whatever. More sketchbooks. Alright, so we're going to leave Emir's area and head towards Spire's Ascent, as we are now at Raven Spire. We're in pursuit of Loki. One of the things Emir told us while I was busy talking over his conversation was that Loki was going to go and get the Destroyer armor, which is potentially how Loki planned to betray Doom and seize all power for himself.